Hi everyone, this is a quick video on Flora Fatale, the 12-foot steel rebar flower sculpture. Flora Fatalis and Femme Fatale, only flowers. You'll understand the meaning shortly. So these flowers, I apologize, are currently not installed. They're just laying down, so they don't look really nearly as interesting. But it is almost impossible to photograph them installed, at least in my yard, without proper background. And here's an example. This is a centerpiece, and you probably can't even see it because since it's made out of thin metal, what's equivalent to wire on the larger scales, the image pretty much gets lost with all the things in the background like trees, houses, cars, etc. And I simply don't have a giant studio to put them in. So you'll have to use your imagination somewhat. But I already have a video on this piece. This is a centerpiece known as a Venus trap. And so it's really worthy of a video of its own. And I'm assuming you've already watched it. So this one will really focus on the other pieces. And let's start here. You already saw quickly the dandelion there. But this is the tulip. So the theme, just to understand, there are several ways you can install, use this installation. One is simply huge, pretty flowers. In fact, I'm contemplating painting them. That's an option, with paints of different colors. I kind of like the raw metal look. They are coated with a clear coat, although they need to be recoated at this point to keep them from further damage, but that rusty look is on purpose. So the first way is simply installation of 5 big, huge flowers out of metal and rebar. Cool. Okay. The other way is to install them as an art installation as I originally intended it. Not everybody gets it when they view it, but I'm going to explain it. So each flower is basically was designed to be to portray the image of violent beauty in captivity. Okay, so it's a flower, but it's somehow violent, and it's somehow being captured or restrained or held down. There's this beauty in breaking away from restraint, violent beauty, breaking away from restraint kind of feel. So this one, for example, is a tulip. But as you can see, the stem isn't straight. Tulips are perfectly straight normally. And the leaves are bent. And by the way, all the leaves are correct for the plant. I've actually studied the shapes of the leaves and made them. And here's some other examples while I speak. And they were actually the hardest part to do because you're creating an illusion of a shape only by the outline, and you're doing it by bending, in some cases quite thick metal, perfectly correctly. So that was a challenge. But for example, if you're looking at dandelion, this is an actual dandelion leaf, or the shape. If you're looking at the lilies, that's a calla lily leaf, etc. Okay, so tulip leaves do bend that way normally, but if you look, they actually bend to give the illusion of a person, or specifically a woman, bending her hips one way and shoulders the other way, sort of a sexy position, but bending the leaves with the arms to cover herself. Okay, and this flower would normally be installed with this. This is basically a chain, a fence that goes around it. All the while, it's more circle made out of motorcycle chain, and so the name of this piece is Trapped Tulip. Okay, the next one is the calla lilies. They normally would be tied with a thick jute rope, not only around the base but to each leaf. And because they bent, and there's 2 of them, smaller one and a large one, mama and pop, and girl. Because they bent forward, they leaned forward, and the leaves do the same. There's an impression of them being tied and wanting to break away from the strong rope. In fact, there's a separate rope tying each leaf, which really gives you an illusion of hands, of a person leaning forward with their hands being pulled back. This one's called Captured Calla. Okay, there's 2 flowers, 2 leaves. Okay, the next one is the chain dandy. That's a dandelion. The leaf actually has chainsaw chain welded around the edge. thanks to the local Oceanside Home Depot who donated all the chain left over from the rentals. Thanks, guys. Okay, and this one has a very thick galvanized chain that goes around. There's actually the link right here. It's not installed at the moment, the chain, and it's on a chain, so it's a chain dandy. Okay, it's everybody's favorite, and it was actually the easiest to make. Well, not the leaf certainly, but the flower. And last but not least is the restrained rose. So it's not a straight stem rose, a bent stem rose. You can see has real thorns, and yes, they are sharp. Okay, well, not razor sharp, but I certainly wouldn't smack my hand on one if I were me, which I am. And this one has 3 cables, and the leaf is part of the rose. This one has 3 cables. They go in, the form a circle, go 3 different directions, connected at the bends. So it also sort of gives the illusion that they're bending them. And the rose actually needs the cables to stand unless you cement them in. It's not made to be, sufficiently balanced to stand on its own. I explained, the artistic, the installation way, or, to install it as simple as flowers. The other thing is all of these have an option of fire being added to them, or rather it's already there, being used or not. You can see some copper tubing right here. That's what this is, okay? Now, if it's to be actually used, it would be, this is left over from last time I had installed. It would be wrapped around like that, and I have now finally obtained chemicals to, this is actual solid copper, the tube, to turn the tube green, a verdigris green, so it would appear like a vine crawling, sort of choking the flower. In fact, if it is to be used, I plan to be adding solid copper leaves to the vine, small little leaves. I've already created them, etc., and turning those green. But that tubing is actually tubing for conduction of gas, such as propane. All the units have connections at the bottom, at the ends, all the copper, and it can even be left on there if you're not using it for fire, just if you like the look of the vine. But these connect to pipes that would be buried underground, half-inch gas pipe, connected either to natural gas or to simply propane tanks, which is how I've done it. And they all have flames. The centerpiece, Venus trap, is actually interactive. The flames are interactive, but again, I will let you watch its dedicated video. In these flowers, the flames are simply inside the flower itself. As you can see here, the flame goes in, and there would be the tube goes in, and there would be a flame burning inside the flower, inside the mesh, which has the double effect of looking beautiful inside the flower. In the case of dandelion, and it's right here, just in the center. But also the mesh protects the flame from things blowing into it. It doesn't really have embers, propane, and there's tiny little flames. They're not big flames. We do put some steel woolen in there so that if wind blows out, it just relights itself. And those can be optionally either used or not used, or have everything connected but only turned on at certain times. Okay, thank you for watching.